Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Of course, it's me, Only Run Very Noob, bringing you Guardian gameplay using the Talstar client. Today, I'm bringing you a Victor mirror match. Um, I believe this mirror is a little weird because both Victors, or at least from my experience as a Victor, I don't really want to be clashing into the Victor mirror. That just seems like um, you're just kind of asking for it because their deck should be, or at least I'm expecting it to be, set up to be winning clashes just as often as you. And just kind of leaving that up to the TCG gods doesn't really sound like where I want to be. I'd rather just side out Trounce and test his strength and just kind of try to out Guardian my opponent. Just try to skill gap them from just like a base level perspective, like just block well, throw big attacks, and just try to manage your life total pretty good. Because Victor really doesn't have any evasion, especially in the mirror. I guess I should explain why I think it's especially in the mirror. So our only evasive threat is Golden Sun, and if we're not clashing, we're not really making gold. So Golden Sun shouldn't have evasion that often. Of course, in a few games per 100 games or whatever, you will get a gold because I don't cite out the blue clash cards like Clash of Might and Clash of Vigor because I just don't want the blue count to get like too low. We do sideboard up to 66 cards. So if we cited those blues out, we would be at like 27 blues with 66 cards, and I'm not sure how bad that is, but it just feels bad to me. Coming from Bravo, where you sort of don't ever want to go below 33, and that's for a 60 card configuration. So for a 66 card configuration, you'd probably want like 36, which is exactly where this new list I'm playing is at. This list should be current to what I'm doing right now. You'll even see something interesting here in Arcane Lantern. It was brought to my attention recently that Tomultai cannot destroy Arcane Lantern. So I'm trying it out instead of Norrin Boots because against Dromai I don't play a Nothos anyway. And I think you get the same amount of armor by swapping out your shield and your shoes. Civic Steps isn't quite as good because of course it's not a gold that you can sacrifice, and giving quickens to something like Dromai might be kind of scary if they're on red line, but I'm trying to get more percentage points into like the controlling big dragon build. But anyways, this current build, I'm only citing out Tessa Strength and Trounce. You'll see E-Strike, which I believe gives us a lot of percentage points into a lot of different decks. Like against Dromai, it's more Go Again. And it's also just like a solid threat in its own right. 2 card 7 isn't bad. And honestly, it's more powerful than the blue it's replacing. It's replacing Wallop in the deck. And yeah, we're cutting blues, but we're also adding in a red that helps us when we don't draw a lot of blues. So my thought process originally, because I've been thinking about E-Strike for a while, was that it's going to help the hands that the blue it replaced would have helped anyway, by just being like a card that if you have a 4 red hand, you can just block 6, send 7, and be fine with that. But back to the mirror. In the mirror, I want to be resolving big threats like Righteous Cleansing, Thunderquake, Prime to Fight. I want to be resolving Go Again effects, so Rouse the Ancients and Zealous Belting, and even E-Strike, but to a lesser extent, because E-Strike doesn't make your Anothos +2, because it's not like you pitch into it. Where Zealous Belting and Rouse the Ancients, you're going like 5 or 7 Go Again into 6. A 3-card hand with E-Strike is just going 5 Go Again into 4, which is still reasonable because it is a 3-card hand that sends 9 and only fatigues you 1 card. And I think fatiguing with damage might be just sort of what happens in the mirror quite often. A card I'm not playing that I see a lot of other Victors do play is Pulverize, and I think that's going to hurt me in the mirror, not having Pulverize. But we will see how this game goes. Our opponent puts us going first, which is where I'd want to be in the mirror. I'm not sure why they want to go second. In my opinion, fatiguing them some cards by just attacking first is good. Also, I have Red Thunderquake, and my opponent could believe I have Pulverize, which Heave is very good on the first turn as well. We don't get any first turn cheese in our Thunderquake Heave, though. We just sort of have not a wonderful hand because we can't even hammer for 6. But I am just going to hammer for 4. I'm hoping to get 2 cards anyway off of a hammer for 4 because they don't want to leak 1. And I'm going to pitch the blue and then a Command and Conquer. I see that they have Crown of Providence, so let's pitch the Command and Conquer so that hopefully by a second cycle they've already found an opportunity that they wanted to use their Crown, and so our Command and Conquer will be turned on. And then the card that we're going to arsenal out of these two is going to be the E-Strike. I think it's slightly better than the Command and Conquer. So if I was forced to block with one of these cards, I think I would block with Command and Conquer over E-Strike. So that's sort of what goes into my decision-making process for what card I want to arsenal. Plus, E-Strike can be quite good if we draw immediately into like a Zealous Belting hand, and our opponent wants to use Civic Steps on Zealous Belting. We can play E-Strike from Arsenal for draw card, and it'll have go again, and we might potentially be able to get a blue off that draw, and then just like finish with the hammer for 6. We end up getting 2 cards out of our opponent, and we get a Zealous Belting. Unfortunately, neither of our blues pay for our Zealous Belting here. They send a Disable. I'm just going to block with Clash of Vigor and Command and Conquer. My plan being to E-Strike for 7, bottoming the Rouse the Ancients, and then arsenaling Zealous Belting. We lose the Clash, which, if I'm assuming both decks basically have like the same density of power, should be just like a coin flip that we just happen to lose, which is why I don't want to play Test of Strength or Trounce, because I don't really want to be coin flipping and giving my opponent gold or more, because gold is worth quite a lot in the mirror, I would say. Just because your Golden Sun isn't normally turned on if you can't make gold, and if you give your opponent a gold, they don't draw a card, because Victor specifically says you only draw when you make a gold off an effect you control, but still giving them the gold for +3 and overpower is sort of a lot. It actually gives the deck a finisher that we can't block easily, and we just want to avoid giving our opponent like any sort of value like that. Of course, sometimes they'll reveal Golden Sun off your Clash of Might or Clash of Vigor, and in those instances, it's going to suck for you, because they will draw a card off that, because I do believe that the gold would have been created by an effect they control, the Golden Sun. But I do not think I can side down to like 27 blues, but maybe I should test it, because maybe it is just like that much of a liability that you don't want to get high rolled in that way. We get attacked for 8, and I'm just going to block for 6 with both of our clashes. Our opponent gets both of the tokens. Kind of unfortunate. Our plan here is to just hammer for 6. Because those 2 blues didn't cost 3, there's not really a thought to blocking with Thunderquake and a blue to Zealous Belting them, because it would only be 5 into 4. Because the Clash cards don't turn on hammer. Opponent's disabling us. And here I think I will block with Prime to Fight and disable, keeping a Zealous Belting hand. Keeping the Golden Sun over the disable, just in the off chance that it matters. Disable might be slightly better though. Not 100% sure. Golden Sun is still just like a 2-card 7. So maybe it ends up being a little bit better than the disable. It's their turn to block with a clash effect that we win. So we get a Vigor token here, which will set us up next turn nicely. If we draw like a Prime to fight, that would be very good. Otherwise, it'll just be like a free tech plating activation. We could even potentially use it to block with Righteous Cleansing here and still have a Zealous Belting turn, pitching a red Thunderquake and a Chokeslam. But they Spinal Crush us. So unless we block 6, we don't have a Zealous Belting turn. So I'm just going to block with Cleansing and Thunderquake, and then hammer for 4, arsenaling the Zealous Belting, and using the Vigor token to make a Seismic Surge with Tech Plating. As you can see, this is a very back and forth sort of throw damage, block damage matchup. Unlike the Bravo matchup, we really don't have to worry about a big crush effect being dominated. We can just sort of play the slow math game. And as you can see, I started with a couple more cards than my opponent, so I can always just be ahead when it comes to like the fatigue game. So as long as we're trading back and forth and it's not getting super out of hand as far as me like having to block big attacks with multiple cards, I should come out ahead in the fatigue battle. And that should be something my opponent is mindful of. I must have missed it last turn. I think he revealed Trounce off of his Clashomite, which is very, very interesting. This is not a card I would keep in the mirror, as you saw in my sideboarding, but maybe my opponent just sort of feels like it's a coin flip and they want to get like that additional value. I'm trying to wrap my head around why you would play Trounce into a matchup that is just as prepared to be winning Trounces as you are. I think the easiest answer is my opponent might just like the card. They're testing the deck, so of course they're going to play the cards that are like the most fun and the most powerful. So let's see. We get to he wants to gamble a little here. And he wins the Trounce, so he gets all this value here. One thing I should know about this is this would be really scary if we felt like they had Prime to fight in their deck, but because we saw red disable, I wouldn't expect Prime to fight to be coming. But it's still just like a ton of value, and like I said, like the gold is super valuable just to turn on your Golden Sun. So we'll see what he decides to throw at us here. I'm probably going to be blocking for like 9 and hammering for 4 off of our Clashomite. If they don't do much, if they just like hammer for 7 or something, I would block with 6 with the 2 reds and then have a Zealous Belting turn. But I don't suspect we're only getting hit for like 7 here. Alright, so they pitch a Pulverize, which is scary. That means they have it in their deck. And they're pitching their Golden Sun for later, which is scary because they have 1 gold. And if they played 1 Trounce, I have to expect they're playing Test of Strength and Trounce, so they might even like give us gold or get more gold, and who knows. But yeah, if they're throwing a Disable for 10, I'm just going to block 9 and then hammer for 4. They immediately show another Trounce. Alright, here we go. Come on, baby, let's give me some stuff. Oh, they win again, and they even reveal Thunk. I was looking for a WoW button, but there's no WoW button, so I'm just gonna stay quiet. He even reveals a Thunk too, so he gets 2 might instead of just 1. Let's see what our opponent can do here. We're just gonna try to hold on. Only send 9 with a Cranial Crush. Not the worst turn for us. There's a chance he has like a Pummel or something, but I'm not playing around Pummel. I think I'm just going to block with Clash of Vigor and Spinal Crush so that I can have a Zealous Belting turn, taking 4. And hoping we can win a Clash once in a while, maybe. Ooh, we did win this one. I just didn't see the token get made under my control, but it was because they got the Destroy Gold prompt. So yay, we get a Vigor, which means we get to have a Surge this turn. We weren't going to be able to have a Surge because we have a blue and a yellow, and Hammer plus Zealous Belting costs 5. But because we won a Clash, we get to make a Surge. We take these small wins. They give us the Civic Steps, which is good for them. They know we don't have 2 cards behind, so it couldn't be like a cheeky E-Strike here. They take a bunch of damage. Not sure what they could have. Probably like a Pulverize or a Rouse. Yeah, Pulverize. So our hand of Thunderquake, Chokeslam, Buckling Blow, and Staunch Response, there's a few things we could do here. It really depends what we want in our arsenal. Or if we want anything in our arsenal. We could block 13 with our whole hand. Pitching the blue for Staunch. And then blocking with 2 of our reds. It would feel a little bit better if we had 2 blues and we could Staunch for 10. Instead of like fatiguing ourselves a card for almost no reason, getting the same +3 block value. There's no reason to keep a card on offense because we're not going to be able to block the full Pulverize unless we use armor, and I'm just like not interested in using armor on this attack. I would rather save armor for the Golden Suns that he's going to be having with these 2 golds. So I think I sort of like just blocking 9 and arsenaling the Staunch Response. That also protects us against a potential Golden Sun, because we could block 3 from hand, or we could even just block like 10 with this pitching 2 blues into Staunch Response. Yeah, I think blocking 9 and arsenaling the Staunch Response here is just safe. It's a lot safer. We get to stay even on life. We take 5, but having a Staunch and Arsenal seems like it would be helpful, especially because we're giving them all the tempo here. It's even not terrible against like a Rouse the Ancients. There's some stuff I would like to do with this hand, but also they have a 5-card hand, so we're going to have to defend here. Them Zealous Belting on a full 5-card hand means we can't really use Civic Steps here, because if we use Civic Steps, they could attack into Hammer, and that's just like a disaster. So I think just blocking 3 with like Command and Conquer here. And then not sure if we're going to have to block 6 or if we're going to have to block more, because he does have like 3 cards. It could be a big attack. Nope, they just pitch Righteous, Cleansing, and Test of Strength to come in and hammer for 6. It's a little annoying our card in hand is Staunch Response, because I'd like to just block 6 and send back 4, but we can't do that. We could use the Staunch and Arsenal on this, and then like E-Strike for 7 or 5 draw a card if we want to get a little risky. But I don't like that either. I think I'm just going to block 6 and then make a Surge with the Staunch. Kind of an ugly hand, but I mean, we could also just block 3 and go to 15. Maybe that's the play. Maybe I just block 3 and E-Strike for 7. Yeah, that is what I end up doing, just to like try to use our cards. We have a bunch of armor. Going to 15 isn't the worst, especially with a Staunch and Arsenal. Not a great spot though, because we're ahead on like the fatigue game. I mean, I'm down 4 cards in graveyard, but we're still up a few cards in deck. I feel like I should be blocking damage and getting to that point. They block with Clash of Vigor and they reveal another Trounce. So I guess we gotta like cross our fingers here and hope that he doesn't win another Trounce. Ooh, we have a Vigor token and a Prime to fight though. That's very nice. We're just gonna, so they send a Golden Sun, and I think this is perfect because we only want one blue for our Prime to fight, and we're gonna block with Spinal, staunch response to Golden Sun to take 0 and then send back 9. That Vigor token he gave us was quite good for us here, giving us +3 damage. And here's that Trounce they revealed off their last clash, so let's see how it goes. They're using Crown of Providence as well to block. They gotta fix their hand, it seems. Oh, we win the first one. Are we gonna get there? Did they break a gold? It looks like they broke a gold to reclash, and we ended up still winning the Trounce, so that's huge. They gave up their gold they already had that they could have used on a Golden Sun, and it didn't even really help them do anything because now we still won the Trounce. Very, very good for us. Very happy to have a gold since I pitched that Golden Sun. A lot of times in the mirror match, I would just like block with Golden Sun because, you know, I'm not expecting to get gold. But here I have a gold, so I'm really happy that I didn't block with all my Golden Suns ASAP. And yeah, I'm just gonna give him all my armor here because I have a big rouse turn. And we're down a little bit on armor, right? We have 3, 4, 5 armor, and they have 7. But we have a really big turn coming in here. It's going to be coming in for 14. We even get to make a surge because we had a Vigor. And we get to Arsenal and E-Strike. Of course, he couldn't use Civic Steps on our Rouse the Ancients because we revealed a E-Strike. Chokeslam. I'm just going to block 6 and then send my own Chokeslam. I should probably block with Thunk over Debilitate. Very small, but I feel like Debilitate is a little bit better than Thunk in the mirror. Sorry about my voice. Tried to fix it with water, but it doesn't seem to be working out for me. So how did they block that? They just blocked it with armor and 1 card, so they're giving us a Quicken even though they know we have an E-Strike in Arsenal. That could be quite dangerous for them. They send a Spinal Crush. We have Staunch, Spinal, Cranial Crush, Buckling Blow. I could use armor to be really safe here. I could just like block with Spinal +3 armor, and then E-Strike for 7 into Hammer. No, I think I would E-Strike for 5, draw a card, into Make a Surge and Hammer for 6. It's the same amount of damage, but I'd get a Surge and then Arsenal Staunch Response. But I think I kind of want to save my armor, although I guess I don't have to because they don't have a gold. So all of their attacks, like nothing has evasion unless they like Blue Macho Grande or something. Plus we'll have the Staunch in Arsenal, so we already sort of play around evasion. think I'm going to block 6 with cards from hand. And then I'm just going to E-Strike, bottoming the Cranial Crush, draw a card. Saving the armor. Because now we have the armor advantage. They have no armor left. And then yeah, E-Strike, draw a card, trying to hit the blue here. And we end up hitting the blue. So we get to come in for 2-card 9. Right? E-Strike plus what it bottomed for 5, and then we got a free card for 4 more, and then we get to Arsenal of Staunch. That might have been too risky though. Maybe I am just supposed to use armor there to E-Strike for 5, draw a card, and to make a Surge Hammer for 6. Because I'm already protected against evasion with the Staunch and Arsenal. It's turn 13, but I don't think. Maybe I am at second cycle because Trounce has happened 3 times, which bottoms 3 cards. No, not quite, I don't think. The hammer for 6, I'm just gonna block 6 and hammer back for 7. Looking for a better spot. Just sort of waiting for a Golden Sun to try to close the game. So we block with Test of Strength. Ooh, and we win. So now we have 2 gold for our 2 Golden Suns. I believe I still have 2 Golden Suns left in my deck. Maybe this is what I was saving armor for, is now I can just block. Ooh, it's a Command and Conquer too. It's an attack I actually want to block. But I was going to say I can just block with the red Debilitate plus armor if I need to, and then have a Zealous Belting turn. And that's exactly what happens here. The Quicken I'm giving them shouldn't be relevant because they're going to have to block too much on this crackback. Now it's our turn to win a bunch of clashes in a row. I'm looking at my graveyard for Golden Suns, only 1 left, so both of my gold get to be fully powered up once I draw my evasive threat. Oh, and we have a Vigor and a Prime to fight. It's so good. It's only a hammer for 4, but I'm still just going to block it for 6. Because I'm just going to protect my life total, and I'm pretty sure if I just don't die to something weird, when I draw Golden Sun, it'll just be good enough. And I get to make a Surge here and throw 9. And having a card left over that I couldn't put in Arsenal isn't like... doesn't seem like something that matters to me. I sort of want to get to my Golden Suns. And again, I have a Rouse turn here, and maybe just taking this 4 and going to 3 and sending like a Rouse turn would beat him, because he's at 1, right? I'd come in for 7, he'd have to block with 3 cards, and then 6, he'd be dead. But there's a chance that he hits his pitch deck Test of Strength here, and I just don't want to sacrifice life I don't need to. So I think I'm just going to block for 3 and then send Thunderquake for 10. The 10 from Thunderquake still gets all 4 cards unless he has Test of Strength. It doesn't kill him, but it gets all 4 cards, which is probably winning the game. You know what's a better play is just block with Thunderquake and throw Macho Grande for 8 Dominate here. Yeah, that's definitely the play because I have the Surge. I'm definitely just supposed to block with red Thunderquake and throw blue Macho Grande here. Which just ends the game in every instance because we haven't seen him pitch a Staunch Response, so I'm pretty sure he just like doesn't have it. So yeah, this game lasted 1 turn longer than it needed to, but I have Golden Sun here, so definitely not a game-losing mistake, but in a lot of game states that might have been a game-losing mistake. You should probably just always take the win when you have it in your hand as opposed to waiting for a different win. I would say that winning the game is always the play if it's an option. So as we see here, that was the game. Kind of an interesting, fun one. I've played a few Victor mirrors. Can't say I've ever played one where they kept Trounce in the list. So that was exciting. It was scary and fun. You know, like he won a couple, I won one, Trounce at least. And definitely kind of scary and swingy. In these Guardian mirrors, sometimes like a point or two is really all you need to win because it's so close, it's so tight, and especially in something like a Victor mirror, there's no evasion really, unless you're making gold, but there's no evasion really, so like just blocking and sending damage, if you're getting a point out of nowhere that your opponent's just not, a lot of times I feel like it's probably pretty good. As you see in the mirror, our value is not as good as in other matchups. 13.7 is like about as low as I've seen Victor go. You can almost always get 13 value a turn in Guardian just by blocking 9 and sending Hammer for 4, and we're just only like 3/4 of a point above that. Probably that 3/4 of a point is what our opponent gave us when we won a Trounce or when we won like a Clash of Might or something. Very interesting. So yeah, this is definitely how I would play the mirror. Just slow, take your value, and hopefully your opponent makes mistakes, like small. I don't want to say mistakes or like huge errors, but just like small sort of value leaks, and that's definitely how you're going to win these Guardian mirrors. Bravo's a little tougher because they can steal games with Dominate. As you may have seen earlier this week against Alan. They have Dominate, so they can just like kill you. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, why don't you comment down below what card you wish you could play in Victor but you don't have room for. And I hope you all have a great day. I hope you all have a wonderful time at your pre-releases this weekend if you're playing in any. It's really fun to It's a really exciting time. It's going to be very fun to get like Victor cards in your hands. I know all you Victor gamers probably want to play Victor in the pre-release. I hear he's like one of the worst heroes to try to get, but hopefully your packs just have a test of strength in every single pack and you can just go Victor. Alright, thanks for joining me. Bye.